All right, we're back. So before we get started, remember to like, subscribe, share this with anyone you know who's going to be taking that AWS AI Practitioner exam. We're going to do another walkthrough today. It's going to be on more of the AWS Managed AI services. So let's get started. AWS offers specialized AI services designed to handle specific tasks like image recognition, text translation, and speech generation. These services are pre-trained machine learning models aimed at specific use cases, making them efficient and ready for integration without the need for extensive customization. So examples of the service include Amazon Comprehend, which is a natural language processor, Amazon Translate, it's in the name, Amazon Poly for text to speech, Amazon Recognition for image and video analysis, and Amazon Lex, which is for chatbots and voice recognition. So first, we're going to start with Comprehend. All right, you can look this up, Comprehend. And there's one for unstructured text here and one specific for medical information. All right, so it'd be good for your EMR or EHR, health records, right? Medical records, health records. You can also look it up in the DICE, go into machine learning, I believe. And I'll pass it. Yeah, Comprehend. All right, so this is the main Comprehend. Actually, let's do this. Machine learning, open up Comprehend, we'll open up Comprehend Medical. Okay, so we can go for launch Comprehend, launch medical. All right. So what's the purpose? So this is a natural language processor that derives insights and relationships from text data, right? What are the capabilities? It's able to go for language detection, key phrases, entities like people or brands, sentiment analysis like positive, negative, or neutral attributes, and text tokenization. And it can organize topics by organize documents by topics and analyze PII, personally identifiable information within the text, right? So here's some use cases. You can use this with customer interaction analysis, topic classification for articles, and sentiment analysis in customer service. So we're at the Comprehend page. You can see here what are the insights it's taking from this text that we have here, okay? And how it classifies this, all right? And let me use this text. Let me copy, see if we can get this. Analyze, all right? And it starts to go here and you can also, you can also do categories that you can select this for, right? And you can see all the results here. Entity, John Doe, name, 45, age, chest pain, DX name, that's a medical condition. And it goes on and on and on. See medications, dosages, frequencies, generic names. This gets a lot of information out here, all right? So you can view extracting medical entities, conditions, dosages, all of this. And you can check the confidence score, right? This 0.899, 8.9 or 0.8992, which would be 89% competency or competency, and note some PHI detection capabilities within it if they were going to put in some very specific information. All right. Then we can go for transcribe medical. So transcribe. It's on transcribe. All right. All right. So this is XSS here, right? What we can do is, let's see, get started. Let's create a transcript. We create one. Gosh, so how would we start with this? So in here, you could download a text from a stream. All right. So here you would get the language settings, automatic language identification. You can specify the language, have it identify it, or do multiple languages. It'll probably default to English. Update the speaker settings, right? So you can have it try and identify unique speakers or different speakers, depending on the language, content that you want to filter out, PII identification, to redact, which is very important, especially if you're in any enterprise level system, hospitals or anything, anywhere that would say, your personal information, cell phone numbers, credit card numbers, if you're on a customer service site, something along those lines. And then results in custom language models. And you can integrate it with your applications, okay? Using APIs to call and respond. All right. Next, we're going to go to forecast. All right. This is a time series forecast. Okay. So this is good, a time series forecast using machine learning. All right. So this incorporates data sources to enhance forecasting models. So it can be used for product demand planning, financial forecasting, and resource allocation. So imagine if you're running a small business, you want to see how to process your pipeline for your what do you call it, your manufacturers to your outlets. How would you get that done? Right. And create a data set group, name it my practice data set. Looks like it needs underscores. Practice data set, select the domain, what type of entity this is. Let's just say retail. New customers exist. Oh, they're probably sunsetting this. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, they're probably sunsetting this. All right, but you can configure this with target size. So you can have your data set, you can have your frequency to select data from that data set. Let's say if you're getting reports out from your manufacturer or whatever your product is, and then configure your columns for timestamps, target values, targets, and IDs. And then you can set this to have and import the data from an S3 bucket. Let's say that manufacturer puts that report in the S3 bucket. It'll start looking for that each time, configure a role with access to that S3 bucket, and then it'll import on that schedule. And then you can create predictors and you can monitor it over time and you can generate views for your forecast. Sorry, we can't go through this because it looks like this is going to be sunset. That's unfortunate. All right, let's go into the next one. Lex, Amazon Lex, which we went over a little bit. Okay, so Lex helps you with chatbot creation using the same technology as Alexa, Amazon Alexa, right? So it converts speech to text, understands user intent, and creates conversational interfaces. It also works with Amazon Connect, which we will get here. Amazon Connect. This is going to be a big game changer. All your call center worries are going to be mitigated by this. And Amazon Connect is a cloud-based contact center service, basically a call center. So it'll handle calls, create contact flows, and it'll integrate with any CRM, customer relationship module. Think about Salesforce, and it'll provide cost-effective solutions, right? So with this, you can build smart contact centers, automating customer service interactions. All right, so let's go back to Lex. All right, so we'll see your bots, create a bot, and then let's see, bot name. Let's say practice bot. All right, and then I am permissions. All right, create a role. Error logging, yeah, we're going to enable that. We're definitely going to enable that. Children's, yes. So this would be important if you're selling children's material because federal government does still have protections for children, thankfully. That can benefit so they aren't marketed too aggressively. Children don't have good regulations. So persuasive systems like machine learning could be good to game them and be able to manipulate them a lot easier. You know, they want that cereal or whatnot. Okay, so we'll click next. All right, so here's the language you can go for with this one. English would be the default, and you can open up some other ones once you request it. Select your voice that you want. So this would be a female, neural, text to speech, and you can go for different ones that are older forms. All right. And then let's see if we can get a voice sample if you can hear this.
Hello, my name is Danielle. Let me know how I can assist you.
Okay, and that would be an example. All right, and then you can set the intent classification confidence score. So you want to keep it at this default around 40. So it's fairly neutral. It can be a little creative, but it'll be typically very concise. Right. And then you want to add what your descriptions are, and it'll help this actually be able to go forward. Um, Helping customers achieve the best outcomes, being polite, polite, concise, geez, concise, neutral, neutral, partial outcomes, and maintaining a good reputation for our stakeholders. All right. And then you'll be done. All right. Okay. So from here, you can create intents. So let's see. Intents. Add an intent. Let's see, and add an empty one. Let's see, order status. Okay, we're gonna add that. So we can add this order status. So this is to describe the purpose of the intent and will be used when generating utterances for your intent. And then you see this here between the curly brackets. This is a variable that can be entered and updated, and the system will interpret it. Okay, and then you can create context tags, which would help you to track how your bot is maneuvering. And then you can go for this generated utterance. Simple. Oh, I need to add another model to this. It's okay. Let's see, slots. We can add a slot. All right. All right. So let's say order ID, slot type. Let's see, order. Yeah, that'll be good. Prompts. What is your order ID? And we'll add that. Generate utterances. This is sample utterance. Let's add this here. Okay, so we got that. All right, so we have our intent, we have our utterances, we have our slot. All right, let's see. Where are we at? Okay, we have the slot, confirmation. If we want to we want to do this with the confirmation, prompts to clarify whether the user wants to fulfill the intent. We can activate this, get a confirmation prompt within this. We're not going to do that. Okay. We can do fulfillment. If we wanted to have the fulfillment for the users to show it's complete and a closing response. So this is how when you're interacting with a chat bot, this is what you're getting. All right. Prompt specification and let me see, where am I missing? And primes intent. Am I missing this? I'm listening in the intent confirmation. Oh, this is where I'm missing it. Okay. Request. Okay, let's just try this default. Okay. Can you? Okay, gotcha. All right. And we can add the fulfillment. So we have to enter this for each one. So let's click save the intent. All right, so we're good with this. And then let's go back to the intent list. All right. And then here. Let's go to the bot. Let's go back to the bot. All right. So here's the practice bot. We click on this action. And let's click on the bot. Okay, so then we'd have to add aliases, add additional languages. Well, it looks like it's here. So at this point, we can add channels to put this in. So mobile apps. So if we wanted to put this in the Slack channel, Microsoft Teams. So it should be good to go. So bot versions. Let's see. We can download it. That's good. Draft versions. That's good. So we have it in TOTS. We have Slints. We can go back and update this more, but I think we're good to go. All right. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and delete this before I forget. All right. That's just going to help me not incur additional billing. All right. Next, we're going to go to Personalize. All right. All right. All right. So Personalize is a personalized recommendation service. So what it does is it provides real-time recommendations based on user interactions. So it'll integrate with websites, applications, and marketing campaigns for personalized experiences. Think of like when you're on your Amazon website and you're shopping for toothbrushes. It'll recommend something based off of the soft toothbrushes you've purchased or the unique toothpaste you've purchased, something along those lines. So those e-commerce product recommendations, any media content, personalization, and targeted marketing will always be used. So when we're at Personalize, we can click Get Started. And then, let's see, we create a data set group. And then we can enter the name. Practice personalized data. All right. And then we can set this up for different types. You see e-commerce, video on demand, or custom. Add tags. Remember, tags are going to be crucial in your environment. When you're on the enterprise level, tags are going to be important, or your boss and your boss's boss and your boss's boss are going to be very upset if you do not have proper tagging, because how are you going to know who's getting billed for what department and who's overspending in what department? All right. Okay. So the use case will go e-commerce, create the group. And from here, we can create the data set. We can have the items import from Amazon or Data Wrangler. All right, let's go back here. Or let's see, users data set. Oh, well, okay. And then let's see. Let's do this one. Yeah, let's just click this one. Practice data set. Okay, new domain by the existing data schema. Okay, practice schema. Okay, click next. And also those tags. And then from here, you need the S3 bucket. Your file, it says here, file needs to be in a CSV format and reflect the schema that we saw on the previous page. Create an IAM service role, okay, to access that bucket. You'll specify that bucket and, okay, the ARNs. Oh, ARNs, asterisk, and it's, oh, okay. So go for that specific bucket, okay? We're gonna click off of this. And then you'll click start to import this. And it'll import this data, so it'll have somewhere to work with. Now, you'll usually have a CSV document that'll have a huge amount of data, huge amount. All right. And then data locations, we already went through that. And then you want to, okay, you can run data analysis on that once you've imported it. You can set up training on this. And so for this, you could use the e-commerce recommended, or you can customize this and then enter your own name, enter a recipe to describe this, and then you could select the solution that you want to go forward with. All right, and it'll create recommendations based on your data that you imported in that CSV document. Then you can create filters to remove certain items based on rules. Remember those guardrails, those rules, those filters, they're all very important. And then create metrics to measure so that you know how to better refine this in the future, and you'll be good to go. All right, so what we're going to do is go back. So from here, oh, excuse me. Manage data set, manage, let's see, data sets, overview. Recommenders. You create recommenders. Here's the metrics. Here's the event trackers. Here's the data sets. We're going to delete that. Okay. Let's see. Tags. You should be able to go here. Where am I seeing? Where am I missing this? No. Let's set groups. Okay. All right. Well, should be able to deploy this and go. But we're going to delete this just because we've already used it, showed you a brief walkthrough of how to get this set up. Being referenced by one or more data sets. Uh-oh. All right. Data sets. Actions. Delete. There we go. Delete. It's deleting pending. Let's see. Overview. Dataset groups. All right. Now let's try and delete this again. Okay. Now it's deleting. Okay. All right. Let's go to our next piece. Kendra. All right. So Kendra can be used for enterprise search, right? What is this good for? This is a document search service powered by machine learning. So it can index lots of documentation, provide natural language search capabilities, and support incremental learning to improve search results over time. When you hear about law firms trying to incorporate AI or machine learning, this is what you're hearing about, or this type of search service and based off of a different foundational model, right? So this is good with knowledge management, internal search engines for enterprises, and document retrieval. And it has a lot of protections built in. So let's click here. We're in Crinja. We'll click Create Index. We can name it, let's say, White Shoe Law Index. Okay. And our description of what you want to have here, it's optional. Create a new service role, recommended. Enter the role name. White Shoe Law user. All right, use a KMS key. There you go. Or you can use one, you can enter custom, use existing key. We'll go for the default. All right. Add your tags, always tags. Click next. And then you have the Gen AI, you have the developer, you have the enterprise. And so there's different costs, there's storage capacity, and you'll be here. All right. So the developer edition for testing would be good. We'll click next. Control section, use tokens for access control. Ooh, this allows more granular access and better targeting, where you can have it wide open. Gosh, we'll go in for no. All right. So this is the final review and create, which we're going to cancel. Well, let's create it. let's live a little recklessly. I'm going to delete it right after. Don't worry about that. All right. So what we're going to do with this while it's creating, 30 seconds or later, 30 seconds or longer. All right. So click over here, click the indexes. Interesting. Please remain on the page so I can't restart it. That's okay. Okay. So we're here. So we want to get data sources in here. So we click that data source. We want to choose a data source. So here's the available sample and AWS documentation for how to do this. The old reliable. Oh, wow. A lot of stuff is okay there. The best one you're going to get connector. Okay. You got Box, you have Confluence. You're going to use your Confluence. That's your company wiki. Dropbox, GitHub. Okay, there's a lot of good connectors that are still, okay, there's a decent amount that are still here. OneDrive, Salesforce. Okay, this is good. Okay, so we're going to go over to S3. S3 will be a good, come on. Am I missing something? S3, add connector. Next is still be, oh, it's still being created. Oh, snap. This is what I saw. Okay, that's fine. All right. This is fine. We'll wait a few moments while it's clicking up. It'll probably take a lot longer. It can take up to 30 minutes. we're going to move forward. We're going to move forward. It's going to take up to 30 minutes. I want this to be a quick and easy run through of here. But basically, you would select that S3 bucket, okay? Or select S3 connector, then select an S3 bucket, then select an IAM role, select a sync schedule so you can have it daily, weekly, monthly, probably on or hourly, daily, weekly would be ideal. Usually hourly or daily, but just depends on what your cost structure is. Or you could do a run on demand for testing. Then you can have the document metadata be able to be structured and be able to configure it on those similar schedules. You add the data source and then sync, and it'll index your documents. And then you monitor that sync and go forward with that. All right. What we're going to do is cancel this in a little bit. So it's fine. Let me try and cancel. Oh, it's not going to let me cancel this. Oh, no. I'm probably not going to make anything else. All right. We're going to go to the next one. Okay. We're going to go for our next one. AI 21. Amazon Augmented AI. Okay, this is human review of machine learning predictions. All right, so this is a human in the loop AI service for reviewing low confidence predictions. So what this does is this is ideal for someone who is highly skilled in a specific area and they want to be able to maintain some control. This is pretty much where I think companies are going to go as far as trying to have AI at first. They'll probably advance and trust more, maybe not, but who knows? But that's my suspicion, at least for the next foreseeable future. So basically, keep a human who is highly skilled in here to learn from the AI and guide it to where it needs to. Basically, you're shepherding it, you're teaching it like it's a child because it is relatively new. So this will integrate with AWS. This will integrate with AWS AI services like recognition or text track, and it'll let humans review the AI predictions and improve the model accuracy over time. So it'll be good for quality control in the AI systems, and it'll ensure accuracy in sensitive applications like content moderation. So think of anyone on like a YouTube platform, right? It can help when you're in a chat platform. It'll give you a warning, should this text be removed or not? It's learning on that, all right? So what you want to do, click human review workflow, name it, human AI practice. Okay, select the S3 bucket. You should go to S3, select the bucket, get that from here. All right. You'll enter that information there. And it activates some conditions when the human can review certain triggers. All right, IAM role. Oops. Oh, specify the buckets. Perfect. Let's just say any S3 bucket. Okay. Okay, so you see right here, text tract, recognition, humans can do this. And then you can have a custom one for custom data. Add worker tasks over here for a template, hit a refresh, add the job description here, and then you'll have different worker types. Turk, we'll talk about that. Okay, so the worker types, there's the workforce, which is your employees. There's Turk, which is one of the third parties. Vendor is another third party. Amazon, well, Turk is actually Amazon's open source reviewer. Okay, this is interesting. I'll go into this a little bit later. So there's Turk, which is Amazon's open source third-party tools. A private, this will be your team of workers, like people in your company, and the vendor would be this would be third-party vendors that can be added on ad hoc. All right, click create, and you should be good to go. All right, so let's go into Turk. This is fun. All right, so I remember when I was looking up. Mechanical Turk. Is it not here? Oh, wow, that's crazy. All right, okay, we'll get knowledge articles. So this is a third-party service that you can sign up for. What you wind up finding out is whenever you see like a 60-minute story with, these people are being paid very poorly to do X, Y, and Z, or they're, going through some and crazy stuff. It's something like Turk. It might be Turk in some instances, but every AI system that has that vision recognition has to learn from key value pairs with something. And so that labeled data has to be labeled by someone. So a lot of people in, let's say, lower labor cost countries will be here having to do some of that labeling, right? So Turk is a form where requesters post work as human intelligence tasks and work completes hits in exchange for a reward. So what you wind up seeing is that they'll do those key value pairs in India and Kenya and Malaysia, Philippines, right? And they'll get paid 5 cents a task, something like that, right? For these small key value pairs. All right. And you can sign up here, go into this. And I mean, you don't make a lot, right? But it's a crowdsourcing marketplace for performing simple human tasks for these models, right? So you have a distributed workforce that tasks for like image tagging, data collection, business processing. And it's integrated with the AI services like SageMaker for tasks requiring human input, right? So you can have that image classification, you have data labeling, and you can control the quality in your AI workflows. Okay, so you can create a requester account and then apply this and start petitioning out for work. And some people will do this all day, and that's fine. I mean, they're signing up for it, right? But the goal is to have better AI and hopefully, have this be better benefit. Okay, but it's a very useful tool. But if you know somebody who lives overseas and needs something that's consistent, this is something that will be around for a good amount of time. And that's why I say like AI is good, but it's not perfect. And it'll get better though. It'll definitely get better. All right, and let's go back to, let's see if we have this one. All right, so this is DeepRacer. Okay, so DeepRacer is an educational service for learning reinforcement learning through autonomous racing. Okay, so this simulates a reinforcement learning modules in virtual or physical racing environments. So it supports a global racing league for experimentation and competition. So what this does is it has learning reinforcement for learning concepts and participating in AI-driven competitions. All right, so we'll click on create a model. Get started. Create a model. There we go. Create a model here. Enter a name. New model. And spaces are new model. Okay, valid characters A to Z and hyphens. Okay, new model. Training. Practice. Okay. And you have the Forever Raceway. You select the simulated environment to emulate a track to train your model. Okay. Whew. I have to re-say that a couple of times, right? So you create this, you choose the track direction, clockwise, counterclockwise, your tags. All right. Your race time is going to be time trial. It's going to be object avoidance, head to head. This is a simulation, so you can do this. Okay. The algorithm. All right. You have the time trial, object avoidance. Let's do time trial. Okay. PPO. Oh, well, let's go through each one. Okay. So time trial, PPO. So this would be use neural networks during training, a policy network, and a value network, not limiting itself to the maximum lifetime rewards, just algorithm racing in pursuit of optimal policy. So this seems like more learning, being a fluid. PPO seems more fluid. SAC seems to be more optimizing for specific tasks. So what type of model do you want to train and have trained, or in that abstracting away from what you're doing? All right, then object avoidance, how DeepRacer will learn to avoid certain things, so fixed locations, or they're randomly applied. And so the point of this is not necessarily the race. The race is good, but it's supposed to show how the model is actually learning by the data that's being thrown on it. How many objects are on the track? Okay, okay. What the object type is, where is it going to be placed? And then again, the PPO versus SAC hyperparameters around this. So the gradient descent batch size. So I would say descent batches. I guess this would be the amount of data that's going to be thrown at it in batches, and then the learning rate. So this would be, I guess, how exponentially you want it to learn. There could only be so much compute that could be thrown at it without incurring significant costs. SAC value, again, we were talking about earlier with that optimization. How optimized do you want it to be? Do you want to be hyper specialized, or do you want to be more general? Somewhere in that 0.4 to 0.6 would probably be optimal discount. Oh, I don't know this one. I can't honestly answer that one. And then the number of mean squared error. These were ones that you're gonna have to use on your own time. So this is an overview: head-to-head racing, number of vehicles, bot vehicles. So I guess it's training against bots, the speeds, lane changes, and then the PPO for SAC, and then the similar characteristics here. Okay, we'll click next, and then gosh. So okay, reinforcement learning, the set The set of all of valid actions or choices available to an agent as it interacts with an environment is called the action space. DeepRacer console, you can train agents in either a discrete or continuous action space. When training a DeepRacer model, the action space defines what speed and steering angle combinations are available, and action space is a single speed and steering angle combination or choice an agent can make. So this is suggesting that there's an optimal speed and angles that it can learn and grow, right? So you're talking about that exponential rate, but not just that rate of learning, but rate of how it learns and what direction it learns, and basically grows its machine brain, for lack of a better term. Okay, so you can see the degrees. You see this 30 to 30. You can have it 40 to 45. So it shows how wide and wild. So it could probably take a lot more variance to learn a lot more information. It could be beneficial, or it could just take a lot longer of a time. Okay, so you would probably maybe like 20 to -20 might be a little narrow. That could be good. That 30 to 30 seems like it gives you a lot more latitude, a lot more open space to learn, but it might take more time. Okay, so think about that. It'll take a longer time to cover more territory. Basically, think about that. All right, so next, in the vehicle shell, that's fun. Just no selections here. That's nice. And then you'll see the model here. Okay, and this is the function within Python. All right, so the example of the reward, you see it's setting the variables with the parameters, all wheels on track, parameters, distance from the center, track width, params, object distance, and then the next object distance. So it's another object. And then the reward, 1 to the -3rd power, which I can't even think what that would be. But this is interesting to see how it's actually done. And then return reward, whatever that reward would actually be. And then you set the time to do this to limit your jobs. That sounds good. And this will train that model, and it gives you a simulation of how this would actually work. I like this. I really like this. All right, we're not going to create this. We're going to click cancel. Okay, but that's just giving you a good amount for that. All right, so within that, you'll be able to monitor the training progress, view reward graphs and metrics, test the model in the simulator, and then submit it to a virtual racing league. So you'll be able to train that to be able to go. Let's see. Oh, okay. Another thing. All right, another thing you're going to want to learn about, and I know this shouldn't have to be said, but EC2 for AI is going to be very important. One, because EC2, the Elastic Compute Service, is Amazon's top priority when it comes to workloads, right? So EC2s are just virtual servers in the cloud. These handle a lot of compute, and they're configurable with different operating systems like Linux, Windows, Apple, and there's high GPU ones, which would be good for AI from NVIDIA. And these work with different CPU, different memory, and storage, right? So with regarding API, the GPU-based instances, like in the P family or the G family, are suitable for machine learning tasks. Let's click the EC2. Let's see, launch instance. All right, let's see. Instance family. So yeah, this is, okay. Okay, so here, this deep learning, nice GPU, NVIDIA driver, right? This would be an optimal one. And then you have AWS Titanium, right? This would be specialized. Is it titanium or tranium? Tranium, right? So Tranium is a specialized chip for deep learning and offers a cost-effective training of large language models. Let me see if I can find that. Is it Tranium? Maybe it's titanium. There's so many names in this. Nope, I couldn't find it. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Uh, let's see the open train. Tranium. So Hugging Face, yeah, I wouldn't want to get in that one. Deep learning. Let's see the community will AMIze. Yeah, so Ubuntu has Tranium here. Okay, this is good, and it'll keep going. Oh, or maybe it won't keep going. Okay, and then you have okay, so Trainium is a specialized chip for deep learning. It offers cost-effective training of large models. Then you have, let me see if I can find Inferentia. Okay. Give it a second to pull through. Let's see what so Inferentia. So this will be a couple of other deep learning AMIs. So these are chips designed for high performance AI inference. So this will reduce costs and increase throughput. Because I guess these would be able to modify due to heavy compute and heavy workloads that would be able to go through compute and that would require lots of storage. There's a bunch of different stuff. All right. And then we're going to get to the biggest portion of the walkthrough. Cleanup. Cost management and cleanup is going to be crucial. This will be in your personal learning tour and on your professional learning tour. When you get a ping from, hey, your boss is saying, hey, do you need this EC2 that's been running for about a week? You're going to want to have good cleanup. And so you're going to also have good tag discipline so you can see what's actually running. All right, so what we're going to do is go back here. We created that. Let's see if it's still here. So we can delete this. All right. All right. It's created. Just curious. Delete. Okay. Indexes. That's deleting. Okay. The rest of them we deleted as we went. And we didn't create that one. That's good. All right. So you're also going to go, when you're used to it, and you should always go Cost Explorer. All right. Always go to Cost Explorer. Check it, filter it by specific AI services, and set up a budget for AI services to monitor your spend. And set that spend low, $10, $20, $50, so you get that notification. And it'll show you what services are going, what regions they're going. I think ours is primarily in US East 1, so that's good. But I've had stuff that I forgot that I was doing, cross-region access going from here to Asia Pacific to Sao Paulo. And so I'd have like a VPC running or a VPC endpoint running, and it can be a mess, right? And so you'll get a bill for 10, 20, 50, 100. Sometimes people will have an e-commerce thing going and they'll get a $5,000 bill. And all of a sudden they got to pay AWS. Jeff Bezos has a boat for a reason. All right. So stop and delete any Lex bots that we created. We're going to go back and check those. All right. Which I believe we did delete them, but yep, we have no bots. This is still deleting. Remove any Kendra indexes, which we did. And let's go back to Personalize. I don't believe we created that. We just walked through it. Create data set group. We don't have one. That's good. Manage data set groups. No data set groups. We're good. And then forecast. Remember, it looks like that was being sunset. So there was no new members being allowed. And then we'll be good. And then, yeah. So we cleaned up our resources. We're good. All right. So here's some key best practices. All right. So remember, there's several service integration scenarios. There's an intelligent search pipeline. And let me see if I can hold on. All right. All right. So we're going to go through a couple of different ones here. Intelligent search pipelines. Where is that going to be? All right. So intelligent search pipelines would include something like TextRack to Comprehend to Kendra workflow. So this would be document processing to searchable knowledge bases. Okay. Then you'll have something like conversational commerce. All right. So this will be something like Lex, Personalize, and Amazon Connect, which I'm sorry we didn't show you that, but Connect is an enterprise software. So it requires a lot more going on with it, right? So this would be a chatbot with personalized recommendations. So think about how you could combine Lex, which would have that chatbot, Personalize, which would have recommendations from your data sources, and then Connect, which would be able to work with the chatbot to solve problems for a customer coming to your call center, right? There's a lot of integrations that can work here. Then you'll have something like, then you'll have the next one, your content moderation workflow. And we're going to go for fit to window. All right. Content moderation workflow. Okay. So this would be some of the following. All right. From here, you'd have recognition, which would look for text that would be on there or computer vision. And then you would have human integrated AI with the AI 21. And then you'd have mechanical Turk where you could farm that out to a third party or your internal workforce, and then be able to provide automated detection with human review. All right. And then the next big one oops, would be forecast and planning. All right, so with this, you would use something like, okay, like forecast to get to QuickSight. QuickSight is a dashboarding service, and then you could have business intelligence, right? So this would have predictive analytics for decision making. This would be something you could provide to your C-suite, and they would be able to provide overall recommendations and be able to help make business decisions better. All right. And then within all these AI services, you have security and compliance considerations that you could see had spaces to be built in. So you have your HIPAA compliance and data privacy. So that would be something like medical records, medical specific services, data privacy when implementing proper IAM roles. So only limited access is allowed. You have encryption, where we saw a lot of that KMS action offered. S3 buckets, you make sure that those have no public access. And then audit trail, which you could use to monitor usage with CloudTrail and CloudWatch, right? And then you always have to work out your performance optimization, which is also going to work with your performance and your cost, right? So that means right-sizing the appropriate service tiers and capacities, I mean your workloads, your AMIs you're going to use, and then caching, which we didn't touch on, but caching is going to be important for storing memory. So this is going to be for frequently accessed results, right? So it'll lower your latency and allow for a better workflow. And then batch processing, which we touched on briefly, is good for batch operations to save yourself on compute and workload. And then having regional deployments, so you don't have to have your deployments in multiple regions when they could only be in one shared services region. And from there, that account would handle the majority of the workflow. You could have it tagged, which we mentioned earlier, and have it set up so that any tags reflect who is actually making the demands on your system. So when you're taking the exam, remember, learn which service fits the specific use cases. Understand how they work together, recognize the cost-effective deployments, and then try to match services to the regulatory needs. All right. So understand some key differences, right? I'll give you one. All right. So Lex versus Connect, right? Lex would be the conversational bot AI versus Connect would be contact center. Kendra versus Elasticsearch. So Kendra would be the enterprise search for documents, right? We saw that. And then Elasticsearch would be the open source search. So you could have Kendra in your proprietary search base with your proprietary documents. And you have Personalize versus SageMaker. So Personalize would be ranking recommendations, whereas SageMaker would be a custom machine learning solution. So it probably costs a lot more, take longer to personalize for your situation. And then you have something that you would have to basically understand why you're using it, what it's going to cost, and how you can optimize for your organization. So I hope this walkthrough provided a good hands-on experience with the specialized AWS managed AI services. And I hope this should complement the rest of your learning of the foundational AI and machine learning services within AWS. Okay, so next section, I think we're going to go a little bit deeper into SageMaker. We did that earlier, but never hurts to go back on this and test on it twice. All right. I want to say thank you for joining me. Remember to click the like button, subscribe, and share it with anyone you know who's taken the SAA, that Solutions Architect Associate, and wants to go a little bit deeper with the AI Practitioner. And stay tuned. Thank you again. Goodbye.